So when you look at the fate of the middle class, you see that really the deterioration has been going on for 30 years through successive administrations. And then if you look at the election, the last presidential election in 2008, which was dominated by hope, there was the sense that because the Obama campaign had made the middle class its North Star, that's what David Plouffe called it. That was really why he was running. He believed, and I'm quoting, that the middle class was being hosed and that he really needed to actually come in and take serious steps to address what was happening. But that didn't happen. And there is no question that the administration underestimated the economic crisis and expected unemployment to be down to about 8% now, instead of which, as you know, because you're doing amazing coverage on that, we are facing the prospect of unemployment going up, and we are already dealing with 26 million people who are unemployed or underemployed or too discouraged to look for work, which is very antithetical to the American dream of upward mobility.
You make reference both in the book and your website to Obama's 2006 speech about hope, and contrast it with what you think has happened since he came into office. What, in your view, happened? What went wrong? Was he rolled by Wall Street? Were the forces of the lobbying culture in Washington too powerful for him, or is there something else afoot?
I think the first thing that happened is that, as you know, having run over 100 magazines, ultimately personnel is policy. Nobody who is a chief executive of a big corporation, let alone a country, can actually micromanage everything. So who they appoint at the key positions determines policy. And he made some tragic appointments, looking back. I hope they're not in the room. I hope their friends or relatives are not in the room. But putting Larry Summers as head of his economic team was really the wrong choice.
Would Volcker have been right, in your view?
Volcker would have been infinitely better. Now, Larry Summers is brilliant. I wrote a post soon after it was obvious which way he was going, which was entitled, "Larry Summers' Brilliant Mind, Toxic Ideas." The problem is not IQ. You know, this is like, we are surrounded by brilliant men and women, mostly men though, running things. You know, where are the brilliant Lehman Brothers now, right? So the problem is we're not missing IQ, we're missing wisdom. And the problem with Larry Summers, and I'm using him as an example, there are many others I can use, but he's so central, is that he has a Wall Street-centric view of the world. It's like being kind of pre-Galilean, you know, and believing that the world revolves around Wall Street. Imagine, you know, if you were running the world before Galileo came and told us that the Earth is not flat, you would actually make decisions which would make a lot of planes, a lot of ships, they had no planes at the time, go deep into the sea as a result of your false navigation maps. Or in a sense, that's what happened, because Wall Street was bailed out without any strings attached, without any expectations of how they should behave towards Main Street. And so we have this incredible imbalance which has led to this profound sense of unfairness in the country and this deep anger which has led to the Tea Party movement, which has led to many dangerous consequences, not just about our financial future, but about our political future.
In your, you mentioned the Tea Party movement. In your column last week on both Obama and Glenn Beck and his weekend adventure in Washington, I thought you were quite sympathetic to him. You characterized his speech as devoid of politics and mostly about spiritualism and faith. do I detect a shift in your own politics here, or is this...
No,
or
you detect a recognition of what is going on in the country, which is that people, I mean, the polls that came out today, both the NBC Wall Street Journal poll and the ABC poll, are absolutely stunning. We have 78% who are dissatisfied with government. 78%. I mean, this is not just the right, unless suddenly the right is 78% of the country. You have people so deeply dissatisfied with the status quo, which includes both political parties, that this is potentially dangerous. Because at a time of such anger and economic anxiety, a lot of demagogues can prevail. And Glenn Beck is a demagogue, but he's a demagogue who understands what's happening. He understands the sort of deep longing for people to connect with something deeper. It's a longing that Obama deeply understood himself. In 2006, he gave another speech, I quote in the book, at a Call to Renewal conference, where he talked about that longing, where he talked about the fact that people wanted to go beyond consumption and what was happening in their own lives and connect with each other. And he really addressed that longing. That was partly why he got so many young people so excited in 2008. And so we need to understand a little more deeply what is happening. And at the heart of it is that betrayal of the American dream.